All right, this is the biggest story of the day, and if it had been any other presidential administration, it would be the end of it. It's that big a story. And I told you this, even this morning, I was like, well, this is a big story. I don't even remember what I was talking about now. I was like, it'd probably be something else later. Well, here we go. This comes from a story from The Atlantic by Jeffrey Goldberg. And the title of the article is, and I'll put a photo up here, the Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. Sounds ridiculous, because it is, except it's true. So you get the first paragraph. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling. So this is about the U.S. drone strikes in Yemen on March 15th, where we were supposedly hitting Houthie targets, a terrorist organization that pirates the Red Sea or whatever, and interrupts international shipping. Anyway, so somehow Pete Hegseth and the vice president and everybody except for the president, pretty much, all the big, military, national security people were involved in this chat. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll put a link to the article in the description if you want. You should read it all, but I'm not going to read it all to you. I'm going to give you the summary. Basically, somehow, one of the guys in the chat fucked up and invited a reporter to a Signal chat. Now, Signal is an app for communications that's highly encrypted, but it's for people. Reporters use it a lot. Other people use it. It's not government encrypted level though, right? These people, the people we didn't vote these people in. The Republican senators let them through. These morons, okay. We're discussing an attack in Yemen on Signal, which does not keep a record for government records. It goes away after a while. Thankfully, they invited a reporter along. That's how fucking stupid the Trump regime is. In it, he said, now the reporter had more thought to U.S. security than the people who are supposed to have the most thought to our security. And he doesn't reveal all of the details. They gave details on targets, what kind of ordnance they were going to use, when it was going to happen, where they were going to strike, on a Signal chat where they had included a reporter. Because they're dumbasses. Anyway, one of the key points in here, and there's a lot of them, but the biggest point, one of them anyway, is that Hegseth and Shady Vance, were in a discussion back and forth about should they do it or not. And Vance was kind of not, because, he's isolationist. And he's like, only about 2% of American, 2% of the traffic through the Red Sea is actually American to begin with. It's mostly European and, Middle East and Eastern. And he was a little bit worried about the politics of it, how it would look politically, not the chat, but the attack. And Hegseth was like, well, we're the only ones who can really do it. Europe's pathetic, and he literally called the Europeans pathetic. Not that is really a surprise, because he's a fucking dick and a dumbass. But our supposed allies. But basically Vance and he agreed it would need to find out figure out how to get Europe to pay us for the attack, since we're basically helping them out. How are they going to pay us back for all this we're doing for them? Forget about Ukraine and how we dumped Ukraine on just them. We're pulled out of that and we flipped over to the Russian side and all that shit. Forget about that. They're worried about, well, we're doing this thing for them. They need to pay us back. All of this on a chat app that, yes, it is encrypted, but it's not a government authorized chat. If they're not in a war room, in the Pentagon somewhere discussing this shit, who knows where they are? They could be sitting in a fucking bar, riding around in a taxi or an Uber or something. Who knows? Or a limo, just chatting this shit. And it's like, they asked, well, I think Stephen Miller chimed in, I think the president's giving the green light. He's okay with it. He's not in the chat. They're just flying by the seat of their pants. That's what it feels like if you read this shit. Unbelievable. This is probably the biggest scandal in United States government history. And I bet you the mainstream media doesn't even fucking cover it. If they do, they're gonna, make it, they're gonna same wash it, make it seem like, oh yeah, it's just Trump. If any other president had done this, they'd be impeached yesterday and gone, convicted. At very minimum, everyone involved in that chat will be fired, including the vice president. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody, there ain't going to be no investigations in Congress. The Republicans certainly ain't going to do anything about it. I'm sure the Democrats will point it out and bitch about it, but nothing's going to happen. Not a motherfucking thing. And you know it. I don't even know what else to say. Fuck on. Live fearless. Better.